the most powerful proxy. They think he speaks for Trump. And so when he was tweeting that today, members were taking notice. That tweet was flying around. I saw people on their phones on their way to votes looking at that tweet. One of them pulled it out and showed me. And that mattered. I mean, Musk has Trump's ear. Musk spent hundreds of millions of dollars in the last election. He was talking about threatening to primary or have these members ousted if they didn't do what Musk was calling for, which was vote against this large CR, this large.
The relationship between Donald Trump and Elon Musk has been a little less than perfect lately. We are starting to hear more about the back and forth, the tension between their teams as Elon Musk takes his position as it was First Lady. In the beginning, then it kind of moved to Vice President Elon Musk. And now I think Elon actually thinks he's president trying to legislate and control Congress via Twitter, and really saying that he'll use his entire fortune to change politics, not just in America, but across the world in the most corrupt fashion possible. And that's Donald Trump's job. If someone's going to be corrupt, Donald Trump wants it to be him. And so we're starting to see this tension, which I love. I'd love to see some infighting between them. And Donald Trump isn't liking it. And he's kind of lashing out at Elon. And we are going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way and it really means the world to me. Now, to give us an update before we get to this breaking news about Elon Musk and Donald Trump, I want to hear from Chris Hayes, who had a great insight on this story that I want to check out.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Well, we all learned about the three branches of government in civics class, about the two chambers of Congress, the House and the Senate, and the general constitutional structure of our government. How hard it is to get hundreds of elected representatives of all stripes to agree on big legislation. What we did not learn about is the Elon Musk branch of the government. The world's richest dude, Elon Musk, effectively bought himself control over these United States, apparently. He spent $44 billion to turn Twitter into his personal propaganda outfit and promote Donald Trump. And then he went on to spend $250 million to help get Trump elected. He is now using that authority before Trump is even sworn in to unilaterally determine outcomes for the American people. A guy who's never received a single vote, who is constitutionally ineligible to serve as actual president, who polling shows isn't wanted there by the American people, I guess is now effectively running these United States. So last night, congressional Republicans unveiled a short-term deal, like there have been many others in the years I've been covering Congress, to keep the government funded through March 14th of next year. It was a last-minute decision to avert a government shutdown for the holidays ahead of this weekend's deadline. Republican Speaker Mike Johnson agreed to the deal. Democratic Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Dems still have the Senate majority, agreed to the deal, but they apparently forgot to ask Elon Musk. I don't think Musk has any idea what is actually in the bill. In fact, I feel quite certain of that. He urged his followers to use AI to summarize it for him, which, wow. But he still spent the day whipping votes against it to his hundreds of millions of followers on the social media platform he owns. He tweeted more than 70 times against the deal to keep the government open, telling Republicans to kill the bill. And then once it looked like Musk killed the bill, again, this is all Musk, okay? Trump and J.D. Vance, do you remember them? Remember those guys? The guys that ran for office? Well, then they were like, well, they came out against it as well. Oh, I guess the train's leaving the station, issuing a hasty statement on social media and telling reporters that they now want a different way to fund the government.
Do you support a clean CR?
Well, what the president believes is we should support a clean CR so long as it contains a debt limit increase. That's the position of the president, and that's what we're going to try to push for.
Are you supporting a government shutdown then?
Have a good night, guys. Thanks.
Just to be clear, and we'll hit on this a little more, there's never any discussion of the debt ceiling in all of this. They pulled it out of nowhere today because Musk got ahead of him. That's why. Because Musk sees the initiative. Elon Musk, the guy who really runs things. He's not just Trump's co-president. I think that's way too low a title. He's the head dude in charge. And House Republicans certainly know who they are taking their marching orders from.
Elon put out a pretty serious post there. But, that's the sentiment of the American people. This is why we won on November 5th.
When sunlight is put on these bills, when now Elon and Vivek can talk about it, when members of Congress, when you guys, when we look at the bills, the American people don't like what they see.
The American people are paying zero attention to any of this. Zero. Elon put out a pretty serious post. Oh, well, then if Elon put out a serious post. The Republican House Majority Leader, Steve Scalise, confirmed the bill's not dead. It's unclear what comes next, or if there are votes for an alternate bill, as Vance alluded to, which now adds this other new wrinkle, very complex in. But Elon Musk, the guy who's running things in the Republican Party, and I guess the country, says he wants a shutdown. It's not going to hurt him. There's hundreds of billions of dollars. He's already declaring victory on Twitter, posting, "Your elected representatives have heard you." Oh, yeah, us. And now the terrible bill is dead, says the billionaire.
Team Trump responds forcefully to claim Elon Musk is the new leader of the GOP president-elect. Donald Trump's transition team responded forcefully to claims that Elon Musk is running the show on Thursday, Musk, and Trump killed a spending bill put forward by Speaker of the House Mike Johnson to keep the government funded through March 14th ahead of Friday's deadline on Wednesday. The billionaire Tesla CEO embarked on a public pressure campaign in which he called for the bill to be killed and declared that any Republican who supports it would be voted out of office. By the afternoon, Trump and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance released a joint statement agreeing with Musk and demanding lawmakers avoid a shutdown by passing a spending bill that didn't include giveaways. The sudden death of the bill has led some Democratic lawmakers to suggest Musk is pulling the strings at Mar-a-Lago. And thus, we saw a response from the Trump team, with Trump spokesperson Carolyn Leavitt responding to Elon Musk is the real leader rhetoric from Dems, with as soon as President Trump released his official stance on the CR Republicans on Capitol Hill, echoed his point of view. President Trump is the leader of the Republican Party, full stop now. If you as the president-elect have to clarify that you're in charge, something is clearly going very wrong. And it is upsetting Donald Trump. We've already seen reports that there is tension between him and Elon. We've heard him joke that he can't get him out of his house. He is actually sleeping in the primary bedroom in Mar-a-Lago. It's just weird. All of it is incredibly strange, but that's just Elon, and that's just Trump. It's kind of a match made in hell. But I want to hear a little bit more on this from that Chris Hayes segment that we just take a look at in this clip right here.
House Republicans have now unilaterally decided to break a bipartisan agreement that they made. House Republicans have been ordered to shut down the government and hurt everyday Americans all across this country. House Republicans will now own any harm that is visited upon the American people that results from a government shutdown or worse.
Now, there's always an asymmetry with these shutdown fights, because I think on a sort of substantive level, Democrats don't want to shut the government down and Republicans tend to be like, what's it? Well, who cares? So there's always this kind of imbalance, right? Like, Democrats genuinely, not for political reasons, like just out of like what they believe, don't want to shut the government down. Taking that aside, and the people who could get hurt, which we'll talk about in a second, politically, there's no reason for Schumer or Jeffries to help Johnson out of this jam, right?
Exactly. Let me walk you through what the Democratic thinking is right now. They did this huge bipartisan deal with Speaker Johnson. He reneged on that deal. So their thinking is, if you're going to put up a plan B, maybe a clean CR, maybe this clean CR with the debt ceiling, although I'm very skeptical of that as well, you can do that, but you're going to have to do it with your own Republican votes. We're not going to bail you out. You walked away from that deal. Why would we help you when, after weeks and weeks of these tough negotiations and celebrating all these wins that we had, if you're going to pull the rug out from underneath us, we have no incentive to help you. And on the debt ceiling point, they don't even have to address the debt ceiling for at least another 6 months here. So there's very little incentive for Democrats to bail them out, especially when it was Trump and Elon Musk who were responsible for this thing going up in flames. And if the government were to shut down, Republicans are in control in the House, the Democrats are still in control in the Senate, but I think their belief right now is that Republicans would get a lot of the blame for a government shutdown, and they're also going to frame it rightly so as this is a preview of what's to come in Trump's Washington.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I've learned from this is that, like, no one remembers this stuff in 3 weeks or a month or 5 months. So, like, the long-term political consequences, I think, are minimal. Although I do think the Elon Musk idea, Musk is calling for this. Just shut it down until Trump is sworn in. A month of, like, Coast Guard folks not getting checks and, like, real serious things happening. That would really, I think, be a disastrous situation to inherit as Donald Trump with like a one-vote majority in the House and having to pass a CR right away.
Right. I mean, here's the thing. Musk is a billionaire, first of all, and he is not an elected politician. He does not have an understanding of how Congress works. I get what Trump and his allies are saying about trying to, we need disruptors and people who think differently because they believe it hasn't worked the way, normal politicians have tried to run government. But that being said, this is what happens when you elevate someone like Musk to a position.
Yeah.
It's his own fault here. He elevated Musk, and now Musk is stabbing him in the back by threatening to take down this bill, threatening his members. So that's the situation we find ourselves in now. And again, this is just going to be a taste of what's to come over these next few years here.
It'll be interesting to see how this dynamic plays out to the rest of Donald Trump's presidency, or maybe it's Elon Musk's presidency at this point. But I think we do need to have an important conversation about the fact that Elon, being the poster boy for the Republican Party, maybe even more so than Trump, is incredibly beneficial for Democrats. Of course, we can both cast them as these corrupt figures willing to do anything to serve themselves. But unless Donald Trump violates the Constitution again, he won't be running in 2028. But Elon Musk will still be using all of his wealth and power to drive the Republican Party to do corrupt things in our government, not serving the working class like they'd have you believe. Untruthfully, it's a lie. That's not what they want to do. They want to cut Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Elon wants to do that so he can line his pockets even more because the $400 billion isn't enough for him. So that's who we need to make the face of the Republican Party alongside Trump. So we can communicate this message. These guys aren't representing the working class. They're representing themselves, and they'll do whatever it takes to enrich themselves or their friends or to break the law or be corrupt, because that's what they're always going to do. And we're going to be talking about that every single day on the show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, and I'll see you soon.